100. That's the score the city of Northampton recently received for LGBTQ rights and friendliness. The National Human Rights Campaign releases a Municipal Equality Index annually. Elsewhere in Western Massachusetts, Amherst scored a 76 and Springfield scored a 60. But this year, Northampton's score jumped more than 30 points. I asked NoHo Pride spokesperson J.M. Sorrell and Mayor David Narkewicz for their reactions.
Well, obviously, I was pleased. Northampton has been on the leading edge of being an open and welcoming community for the LGBTQ community for decades. This is an index that looks specifically at the municipal government and looks at its policies. Whether or not we have, anti-discrimination policies in our hiring. It looks at some of the stands we've taken on issues. It looks at whether or not we have LGBT representation. So I think it's a measure of the larger community, but as I've said, I'm glad we got the score. We should have a perfect score, but we're always going to be striving to do more and to, be on the cutting edge in terms of being a welcoming and open city.
And JM, you're spokesperson for NoHo Pride, but you've been long involved in the community and an activist there. I read that Ben Powers, who's also an advocate in the area, told the Daily Hampshire Gazette that he didn't feel that the score was fully reflective of the LGBT community in Northampton, and he thought that it came up short in some ways. What did you think?
Well, I disagree respectfully. I think that Ben focused on affordability in Northampton. And you talk to just about anybody who has to live in Goshen or outside of Northampton because they can't afford to live in Northampton. And that's across the board. That's more the general population. I don't think that Northampton squeezes out LGBT people any more than, again, than we can say it's economically viable to buy a house or rent there.
It's an expensive community no matter how you slice it, is what you're saying, basically.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And so for you, when you saw the score of 100, what did you think? I mean, I know you've been involved there for many years, and this is obviously looking at the municipality.
Right.
But can you separate the grassroots movement from municipality?
I think they're connected. That's a great question, Carrie. This is decades of activism and laws and regulation and social norms changing. This did not happen overnight. And we're one of 6 in Massachusetts, and the only other state that got 6 was Ohio, and the only other state that got more than that was California. So look
when you say six communities.
6 communities, and we're the only state in the country where 3 of the municipalities were smaller. Salem and Provincetown and Northampton are not large communities. So, what a great place to live, and Massachusetts in general. But, I think Northampton, it was fully deserved. The city council, certainly in recent years, is really fully on board on all kinds of rights regarding LGBT people, and it is connected. People are drawn. I think Northampton is the heart and soul of Western Massachusetts in terms of LGBT openness, progressiveness. People live in other towns, but they gravitate to Northampton.
Yeah, it's a place to come and gather and celebrate and be there. To look at the index specifically, 5 categories, and Mayor, you kind of touched on a few of them a minute ago, but non-discrimination laws, municipality as employer, municipal services, law enforcement, leadership on LGBT equality, and there's one other, which is, those are the 5. When you look at those 5 elements, is there one that stands out to you as we're doing great and one that stands out to you as needs improvement?
One of the areas that we didn't receive full points was related to procurement and some of our contracting policies. It's actually one of the parts about the survey that is sometimes a little frustrating, the index, because it's sort of one size fits all, and so sometimes things don't fit within like Massachusetts procurement laws versus California procurement laws. So we're looking at those to see whether we can lawfully add that into our procurement laws. So it's a learning experience. Every year that we've done this, we find new things that we can do to improve, which is I think what we should always be striving to do. I mean, as I said when we received this score, it's great, but I don't see it as the be all and the end all. I see it as it shows that we're continuously focused on this issue.
I will say, though, too, some of the discrepancies with the Human Rights Campaign Index, it suggests that Western states have a higher overall average than the New England states. And I've lived in other parts of the country, and I couldn't imagine not living in New England. And if you look at all the equality laws that have happened around the country, they've happened in New England first. So I'm not quite sure how they're measuring some aspects of this.
And when you look at the numbers, really, it was interesting because Northampton Score last year jumped 32 or so points this year to end up with the 100. And there's some funny math there where you get extra points for X, Y, or Z. But is it possible? I mean, when you look at across the state, it's a point or two, community by community overall, when you look at average increases, to jump 32 points here in Northampton.
Right.
I think a lot of it is, how much time people are spending worrying about the score. I mean, there were years where we were downgraded, like Northampton was downgraded for not having an LGBT liaison in the mayor's office, but we had an openly gay mayor who was our mayor. Right. So it was sort of like, and again, it gets to the big city. If you compare us to Los Angeles or Boston, where they may have a whole department focused on these issues, we just don't have the scale. We're a small city, a small town or a small city doesn't have the amount of staff to be able to do that sort of thing.
And yet Hampshire County has the second highest per capita lesbian gay-headed households in the country. Mm-hmm. So people obviously feel safe living in and around Northampton. And some of the outlying towns where back in 1982, as you said, I've been around for a long time, I wouldn't have felt safe living in other communities outside of Northampton. And now that's really spread out. With that heart and soul in Northampton, it's the reverberating effects throughout Western Massachusetts are notable. I can't imagine Northampton would get less than 100 when other towns and cities are getting 100, frankly. Mm. Yeah. I really can't.
Something else I want to bring in, news this week from the Trump administration that they're considering rolling back protections that have been put in place at the federal level under the Obama administration when it comes to the LGBTQ community. Now, I know this is something that especially conservative religious groups have really spoken out against when the Obama administration put these protections in place. And now, as I say, the Trump administration is considering roll those back. What would you say to those more religious communities that have a problem with these more stringent protections that the Obama administration put in place?
Can I answer that?
Please.
And then you as well, please, Mayor? Please. Well, we're not bothering the religious communities about what they do in their daily lives. It's about equality, fairness, and compassion. To try to say that transgender people do not exist, to erase them out of existence, is a really dangerous precedent. It dehumanizes a whole group of people, so it sets them up for being victims of violence, verbal, emotional, physical violence. If they're not fully human beings, the message that the president and vice president are giving is that they don't deserve to be treated in the same way that everybody else does.